MMC TV USA. Now on POTV, Channel 100.
Well, hello there once again and welcome to MMC World Roundup, where we connect you with the latest news from Sri Lanka and around the world. Well, before we dive into the details, let's give you a glimpse of what's making headlines today. President Xi Jinping expressed China's continued support to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka to promote the registration of ships under the Sri Lankan flag. National minimum wage to be increased. Chinese smartphone giant is taking on Tesla. Well, taking a look at your news in detail, during the bilateral discussion held with Sri Lankan Premier Dinesh Gunawardene in Beijing, President Xi Jinping expressed China's continued support to Sri Lanka, together with Exim Bank of China and China Development Bank, says State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe. It was further stated that China will continue positive engagements with the International Monetary Fund to strengthen economic stability and restore debt sustainability in Sri Lanka. Semasinghe is part of the Sri Lankan delegation accompanying Prime Minister Gunawardene during his 5-day state visit to China. The Sri Lankan Prime Minister had called on President Xi Jinping on Wednesday. During the discussion, which took place at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing, the two leaders have agreed to continue to act under the friendship, peace, mutual respect, and fivefold principle in international affairs that do not interfere in the internal affairs of a country, the Prime Minister's office said in a statement yesterday. It was emphasized that bilateral relations should be based on mutual respect and mutual productivity between the countries, and acting according to that policy would set a good example for both countries. Assuming continuous support of China to Sri Lanka's effort for political and socio-economic progress, President Xi further asserted that China would always stand for safeguarding the independence, territorial integrity and sovereignty of Sri Lanka. The Chinese president thanked the Prime Minister's father Philip Gunawardene's ancestry for their support to China. He also stated that the party representing the Sri Lankan Prime Minister and other parties in Sri Lanka hope to further increase cooperation with the Chinese Communist Party. Surya Udane New Year Festival makes its mark in Los Angeles.
රබන් සුරල් හඬ මැද්දේ එතෙර මෙතෙර හරි සද්දේ MMC TV එතෙර මෙතෙර සූර්ය උදානයක් හෙළයේ මහා කල මංගල්‍ය Los Angeles සිට ලොව පුරා.
In a vibrant celebration of culture and tradition, MMC TV එතෙර මෙතෙර සූර්ය උදානය New Year Festival 2024 is set to illuminate the Los Angeles Buddhist Vihara. Organized in collaboration with Nathandiya Dhammisara National School and Maravilla Club Palm Hotel, the festival promises an immersive experience of Sinhalese New Year festivities. Scheduled for April 14th and 15th, the event will be a lively amalgamation of Sinhalese New Year customs, folk games and rituals, creating an atmosphere of joy and community spirit. MMC TV US will provide live telecasts ensuring that audiences across the globe can partake in the festivities. Maravilla Club Palm Hotel will be serving as the hotel partner and Nathandiya Dhammisara National School as the event partner. First Class Travels has been announced as the official travel partner. The Surya Udane New Year Festival promises to be an unforgettable experience where attendees can immerse themselves in the sights, sounds and flavors of Sri Lankan culture while ushering in the new year with joy and togetherness. The government is eyeing to promote the registration of ships under the Sri Lankan flag in a bid to generate direct and indirect employment opportunities. As such, the Cabinet of Ministers has green-lighted a proposal tabled by the Minister of Ports, Shipping and Aviation seeking permission to invite qualified domestic and foreign investors to register ships under the Sri Lankan flag. The government will thus call expressions of interest and proposals to select the most suitable investor on the recommendation of the Procurement Committee consequent to the evaluation of the proposals by a Technical Evaluation Committee. Ship registration is a major source of foreign exchange to the country's economy and has the potential to generate many direct and indirect employment opportunities, the government said in a statement. The Cabinet of Ministers has given its approval to amend the National Minimum Wage of Workers Act No. 3 of 2016 to increase the minimum monthly wage and daily wage of all workers in any industry. This was recommended by the Tertiary Subcommittee of Trade Unions and Employees representing small and medium-sized enterprises appointed by the National Labour Advisory Council. The relevant proposal was presented to the Cabinet meeting held by the Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment. Accordingly, it is proposed to increase the minimum monthly wage by 5,000 rupees to 17,500 rupees. In addition, the minimum daily wage of workers is proposed to be raised from 500 rupees to 700 rupees. The High Commission of India, in partnership with Sri Lanka's Ministry of Technology, organized a conference on digital public infrastructure. The conference, through its 3 sessions and breakout meetings, explored the transformative potential of DPI for enabling service delivery, empowering communities by fostering inclusivity, and enriching the economy by driving innovation. The 3 sessions included an opening plenary with a keynote address delivered by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, wherein he applauded the conference for being timely. Underlining DPI as a vital enabler for the digitization of the Sri Lankan economy, the President emphasized the need for collaboration with India in this domain, highlighting the potential of fast-tracking growth by adopting India's successful strategies domestically. India's digital transformation and the significance of DPI and India Stack was elaborated upon by Santosh Jha, the High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, in his welcome remarks, and by Dr. Pramod Verma, the co-chair of India's Centre for Digital Public Infrastructure, in his presentation during the opening plenary. The year 2024 is already seeing a turnaround for private equity deals, with Sri Lanka expecting deals amounting up to $250 million, says the Hong Kong-based merchant banking firm MCM Partners.
What's different this time round?
Well, I think there are going to be rate cuts, so I think that'll spur things. I think countries like India and Sri Lanka, which is a turnaround story, are going to present opportunities in the private space. So I think we're seeing a difference from 2023. We already see a pickup. Stock markets were at a high at the end of 2023. Inflation was curbed.
Speaking to Bloomberg Markets Asia, Managing Director of MCM Partners, Janavi Bhagwati, explained as to why she sees a turnaround for private equity deals in 2024 as opposed to a sluggish 2023. According to her, countries like India and Sri Lanka, which is a turnaround story, are going to present opportunities in the private space this year after the Bank of Japan raised interest rates in March, ended the country's historic era of negative interest rates in a move that marked a historic shift in monetary policy. Bhagwati mentioned that the stock markets in the region are already seeing a pickup as inflation has been curbed, adding that investment activity will spur when rate cuts kick in. noting that a flurry of more activity is observed in private market space in 2024 compared to last year. The MCM Partners Managing Director acknowledged that 2023 was a very difficult year, except for Japan, throughout which the rest of the market suffered. When asked about the sizes of these equity deals, Bhagwati said Sri Lanka is expecting deals of about $250 million US, whereas Bangladesh is anticipating a potential deal amounting to $1 billion US. Meanwhile, in India, the deal sizes are small, ranging between $10 million US to $20 million US and up to $500 million, she added. Sri Lanka has earned 3,439 million rupees in February from the export of coconut water. In February last year, Sri Lanka earned 2,705 million rupees from exporting coconut water, according to Coconut Development Authority data. President of the Coconut Development Authority, Roshan Pereira, said there had been an increase in export income of 734 million rupees by February this year compared to last year. There is a growing demand for coconut water, an isotonic liquid considered a superfood. The natural energy drink can replenish fluids and minerals of the human body as it contains glucose, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Sri Lanka currently uses about half of the country's total coconut production, which is around 3 billion nuts. With approximately 1.7 to 1.8 billion nuts consumed domestically, there is a surplus of about 500 million nuts available for industrial use. Industry professionals have said that by improving efficiency, boosting productivity and expanding cultivation, the tropical island nation could potentially increase coconut production by up to 500,000 or at least 250,000 nuts, leading to more foreign exchange earnings. Chinese smartphone maker Xiaomi is set to launch its first electric vehicle and begin taking orders. Its chief executive Lei Jun said this week that the Speed Ultra 7 would be priced below 500,000 yuan. The move will see the technology giant taking on rivals like Tesla and BYD. Xiaomi's entry into the electric car market comes as sales growth has slowed globally, triggering a price war. The firm is hoping that the SU7's shared operating system with its phones, laptops and other devices will appeal to existing customers. Xiaomi is the third largest seller of smartphones worldwide with a market share of about 12%, according to research firm Counterpoint. The SU7, which Xiaomi has been teasing since last year, has drawn comparisons to Porsche's Taycan and Panamera sports car models. Saudi Arabia has announced it will build a theme park based on the famed Japanese animated series Dragon Ball, sparking mixed reactions from fans. It will feature a 70-meter dragon at its center and at least 30 rides, the firm behind the project says. The park would be the world's first such attraction based on the popular media franchise. The announcement was met with some criticism from fans, citing Saudi Arabia's human rights record. The park will cover more than 500,000 square meters, according to the Qiddiya Investment Company, which is wholly owned by the Saudi Arabian government's investment fund. The plans are part of a long-term strategic partnership between the QIC and Toei Animation, the Japanese producer of Dragon Ball. At least 9 people were killed and more than 1,000 injured on Wednesday by a powerful earthquake in Taiwan that damaged dozens of buildings and prompted tsunami warnings that extended to Japan and the Philippines before being lifted. Dozens of people were believed safe but unreachable in areas cut off by massive landslides triggered by the quake, many in tunnels that cut through the mountain that bisect the island from north to south. Officials said the quake was the strongest to shake the island in decades and warned of more tremors in the days ahead. Strict building regulations and widespread public disaster awareness appear to have staved off a major catastrophe for the earthquake-prone island, which lies near the junction of two tectonic plates. The National Fire Agency said all the fatalities had been in Hualien County, adding that 1,011 people across Taiwan had sustained injuries without specifying how seriously. Social media was awash with shared video and images from around the island of buildings swaying as the quake struck. Dramatic images were shown on local TV of multi-story structures in Hualien and elsewhere tilting after the quake ended, while a printing warehouse in New Taipei City crumbled. Wu Chien-fu, director of Taipei's Central Weather Administration's Seismology Center, said the quake was the strongest since one of 7.6 magnitude struck in September 1999, killing around 2,400 people in the deadliest natural disaster in the island's history. Well, that wraps up our news coverage for today. Remember, you can catch us on POTV, Samsung TV, LG TV, Apple TV, YouTube and Facebook Live, reaching the entire United States and across the world. Thank you so much for joining in with us today. Until next time, we wish you a fabulous week ahead.
To catch the full program and more, subscribe to MMC TV USA on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok